So today's a little bit different class of sorts, and I want to give you a little background on it before we jump in. But it's a different kind of class. It's going to require a different kind of thinking on your part. It's not. This is actually a very much a thinking class, and with much less entertainment involved in it, okay? So, first I want to ask, how many of you have close friends or relatives who are in the military? Raise your hands. How many of you have close friends or relatives who have been deployed in either Iraq or Afghanistan? Okay, how many Afghanistan? How many just Afghanistan? Okay, that's a lot of people. All right, so listen. How many of you could, and if I brought you up in front, gave you a mic, how many of you could talk for 60 seconds about Afghanistan and how we got in the war in Afghanistan and what that war is all about? If I gave you 60 seconds on a microphone, how many of you could do that? Really? Is George? George could do it. Wait, is he? Are you here, bro? All right, so there we are. So listen, we're going to talk about Afghanistan today, but I want to give you a little background on this before we jump in, okay? One of the reasons, one of the methods behind what I'm doing in class, or what I try to do in here, or no, very much what I do, is I want to bring you into contact with things that you often wouldn't be in contact with. Whether it's ideas, cultures, or peoples. But see something that you don't typically see. That's not the obvious. And something that we often don't see. And one of the reasons I do this is because, but I would say that early on in my life, when I was, I would say, about 19 or so, I made the decision. I first encountered other cultures. I first started to realize I was encountering other cultures, right? So I had the realization when I was in high school, but really, when I was in college, I started to actually encounter other places. And then I made a decision early in my life that I wasn't going to spend money on things that I didn't really need, like a car and that kind of stuff, right? But I would spend money on experiences. And so I dedicated myself to having lots of experiences and taking myself places that most people wouldn't go, and to have the experiences that most people wouldn't have. And I was a sociologist, right? So I started to really, I don't know, things just, the more I would encounter people who I thought they were going to be one way and they turned out to be another way, or I encounter places that I expected to be like a certain way and I found them to be very different, the more I had those experiences, the more I kept wanting more. It's like a drug, you know, you just sort of want to keep going and have more and more and see more. And the more I had them, the more I realized that the world was not as I thought it was, and in fact, often it was the exact opposite of what I thought it was. And I bring that back to my teaching a lot. In fact, years ago in the 80s, there was a war going on in Nicaragua, and I was walking through this little town. I hitchhiked from the border of Costa Rica, and this guy, who was actually one of the teammates, the teammates of Roberto Clemente. If you're a Pittsburgh person, you know who that is. And so he was a good friend of Clemente's. And so we had this really cool ride across Nicaragua, him telling me stories and stuff, and it's just like the stuff you get. And then he dropped me off in this little town where I was going because I was delivering some medicines to a Guatemalan refugee community. And so So I get out and I needed a place to stay, and I'm walking down this road and I see this old woman sitting on her porch, and the front is blown off of her house. And so she says, "Oye, gringo," ¿Dónde vas? Right? Like, gringo, where are you going? And I said, I'm going down. I don't know where I'm going, actually. I'm looking for a place to stay. So we started talking, and she told me the story of what happened to her house in the war. And as I listened to her story and just her life, and she said, so what are you doing? Like, what do you do? And I said, well, I'm going to teach. I'll be a teacher, I suppose. I didn't know what else I was going to do. And so I said, well, she said, listen, when you go back and teach, you need to teach your students about things like this. Like what happened to me. You need to teach your students about things around the world because young people need to know this, right? And so it started pretty early that I started to have these kinds of experiences that I just had the opportunity to be empathic, like to put myself in the shoes of other people, like really put myself in the shoes of other people, like this woman, and really see the world from their perspective and engage and talk and share. And the world is so much different. My teaching to what I do here, right? I try to show you things that you wouldn't necessarily see elsewhere. So today I'm going to show you some things about Afghanistan. And why Afghanistan? Because you think like, it doesn't, why? What's this have to do with me? Well, I asked you how many had friends and family and so on who were in the military or had been deployed to Iraq or Afghanistan or just Afghanistan. A lot of you raised your hand. And I would think that you would want to know. When you have close friends or family who are deploying, you have a classmate who is putting his life on the line in Afghanistan. I would think that we would want to know these things. Like, want to know what's going on. And I know that most of us, and we have another classmate who's going to be in the military, so we'll have, you think you want to know, right? And so oftentimes what happens is we just don't have an opportunity to know. But I'm going to give you an opportunity because that's just what I do. And I'm just picking Afghanistan. Later in the class, I will tell you why I'm picking Afghanistan, outside of the fact that I have a project there. But I think it's because we're still at war. And the President Trump has dedicated more troops to Afghanistan and it's to win, which means it's the longest war in U.S. history, wars in history. It's by far and away, we're going to continue to spend money and we're not getting out anytime soon. So those of you who have family and friends in the military, the likelihood of them going to Afghanistan in the future is getting higher and higher. So we probably would want to know, and so today we're going to have an opportunity to know, but it's not. So you're going to need to. There's going to be a little bit of history, and there's going to be a little bit of there's going to be a lot of why I didn't realize that, and I want you to just stay there. And I don't expect you to remember all this stuff at all that I'm going to say. I'm going to show you a lot of stuff. I don't expect you to remember, but it's really when you take it in and you start to see the world in different ways, and you start to engage in the world in different ways. It's really mind-blowing because that's what education's about. That's what we're doing here, right? So I'm going to take us on a journey. So first off, go back. So understand, here we are, right? Here's the Nilotic region of Africa. Here's the Middle East. Here's Europe up here. Here's Afghanistan. India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, okay? Right next to Iran. So just understand where it is. It's actually fairly strategically placed in a way. All right, next slide. This was just in the news. This was just a couple weeks ago. A bombing in Kabul. Over 100 people died. 400 people wounded. 500, 600. I don't know. The number kept rising. I don't remember. But a bomb. And so this is what we see. You see Afghanistan, you see a bombing. You see troops, you see war, you see fighting. This is what you're going to get in the media. And this is like you're walking past the television screen in the hub and you see Afghanistan or you hear the word Afghanistan. That's the kind of thing you're going to see on the screen. Okay? Right there. It's just like, oh shit, there's a war going on there. Okay, oh yeah, that's that place. That's that place out there. Next slide. Here's another one. This was back in early January. Suicide bomber attack. Kills at least 11. It was more than that, but here we go. Another one. So what you're going to see. Right? So you're going to associate Afghanistan with war. Afghanistan with violence. Because that's what we do, and then we turn it off, right? Because once you associate it in that way, you turn it off. If you have family or friends who are there, then you're going to kind of be concerned a little bit for them, but mostly I don't want to think about war, right? I want chatting my next meal or something. I don't know, which is not a problem. It's not inherently a problem, right? It's just that that's where our minds are going to go. So here we are. Next one. U.S. soldier killed, 4 wounded on the Afghan border. This is just recently, right? So another one. It's like, oh, yeah, okay. Oh, yeah, oh, that's right. We have soldiers there. Next slide. Here's one. After the Kabul bomb, back in the summertime, there were demonstrations with the Afghan people were demonstrating against the government, wanting more protection. Like, you're not protecting us, right? So then we see this. And then the Afghan military came out and actually shot some of the protesters. And so it's like, okay, with U.S. weapons, by the way, but that's neither here nor there. It just like goes. Okay, so here we are. So this is what we see: violence. People are protesting. People are like, so it's war, it's killing, it's bombing, it's protests, it's unrest, and it's poverty. It's all linked together. That's what we see. And now, for me, going back to what I was saying earlier, when I started to really travel around the world, and I travel, I don't know how, maybe I've been to 50 countries or so, not that many, but that's a lot compared to most people, I suppose, you know. And I go to the places where I want to meet people. I want to know what it's really like. You know, if I come here to State College, I'm not just going to show up in town and like go to the corner bar or something. I want to be on the streets. I want to be with people. I want to know what's happening. I want to feel it because I'm a sociologist, right? So when I go to a place like this or somewhere else, that's what I'm doing, right? I'm always trying to feel it. And I walk through the world with this idea that, wait a minute, most of the world is safe most of the time. Even in a war zone, it's safe most of the time, most places, right? I've been in war zones. It's like you don't even know a war is going on. I've been places where bombing's happening. I mean, I don't even know. There's a coup d'etat happening. I was in Spain when there was a coup d'etat happening in 1982, and the tanks were rolling down the street in the next street over. And all day long, I had no idea it was happening, right? And so in Central America, in different places, it's just like, okay. So most of the world is safe most of the time. Most everybody in the world wants peace, and most everybody in the world is in the middle. Right? They're not extreme here, they're not extreme there, they're really in the middle. Even now in the United States, we say the United States is so polarized. There's the pro-Trump and the anti-Trump. Yeah, but you know what? The vast majority of Americans are right in the middle. We're just busy. I'm busy trying to pick out, okay, am I going to wear this shirt today or my white shirt? Or I don't have time to think about Trump. I don't really care. And that's how most of the world is. Go there and see it. We have no idea if you're not there. Okay, we don't get it. So that's why I'm taking you on a journey of Afghanistan. This is what we see, but this isn't necessarily what's going to be. All right, next slide, bro. So here's, the first thing is, Afghanistan isn't just this place with nothing. These are all the provinces, right? These are all the capital cities in the provinces. There are people in each one of those cities. There are streets, there are cars, there's everything. It's like it's a place with laws and everything, just like everywhere else, right? So it's human beings are living fairly normal, fairly everyday lives. You know, very normal, very everyday. Next slide. Here's shopping center in Kabul city. So here's this Kabul city center. Here it is on the inside, right? It's not, you know, it's not everywhere. Afghanistan's a very poor country, but you know, nonetheless. Next slide. Go to the next one. Here's another shot. You know, see that, right? This could be in Dubai. This could be in the Bridgewater Commons in New Jersey, right? It could be in lots of places, but you know, here it is, right? It's just, all right. Next one. So traffic, yep, it's like every country in the world. It's got way too many cars, right? So they have traffic jams. Yep, it sucks just like everywhere else, right? And so here's a guy, he's getting married. He's just got his hair cut. Look at that, man. Look at that dude. He is a chillin' dude. Getting ready to jump into his Toyota, got all the flowers, just like everywhere else. It's a street scene, right? Here's a guy rollerblading down the street. That could be pretty much anywhere, right? These are scenes. You can go there. Here's an Apple store in Kabul, right? So it could be an Apple store anywhere, right? And here's a little shopkeeper now we're getting outside of town a little bit. So there's a lot of poverty. There's a lot of poverty in Afghanistan. And so here's a guy, you know, selling. Look, he's selling, I don't know what that is, Fanta, or maybe it's Afghan soda. But, you know, there it is, right? Kid. It's a kid wearing sneaks right there, right? All right, next one. So here, now I'm going to take you on a quick journey real fast. You know, this is something that very few of you know if you don't study political science and you don't have a sense of it. And it's really quite interesting how far away we are from this stuff. Give me, after World War II, I hate when I have to start a sentence like that because it means we're going to do history something. We're going to talk historically, and I just know how people feel about history. But this history, I'll make it. After World War II, the world essentially got divided between the eagle and the bear. And the eagle is the United States and the NATO allies, the West, and the bear is the USSR, Union of the Soviet Socialist Republics, of which Russia was the dominant country, okay? So you got all the red is the bear, USSR and their allies. And all the blue is the US and the Western NATO allies, okay? All connected to the blue. And the world gets divided in these two, USA and NATO, but let's call it US, and USSR, they divide the world up, and we're just going to fight over domination and control. And each side had way more nuclear missiles than they needed, way more weaponry than they needed. We had enough, I remember reading at the peak of the Cold War, this was called the Cold War, the peak of the Cold War, that the two sides together had enough missiles, nuclear missiles, to blow the world up like 50 times. And at some point in time, you wonder, how can you just keep getting more and more and more and more weapons? But they do. And so they keep dividing it up, and they're fighting proxy wars all over the world. Proxy wars, meaning like the Soviets send weapons, the US sends weapons, the Soviets sends troops, military trainers. The U.S. send military trainers. The Soviets wanted to control the politics of the world. We wanted to control the politics of the world. This is it. They thought they were right. We thought we were right. They were certain they were right. We were certain we were right. And we bought and we sold weapons and armed people and created wars and created problems all over the world because we were fighting each other, but we could never really fight each other because that's nuclear missiles. Like we never actually fought each other. We fought these proxy wars all around the world. Okay? You got that? And nobody can say that we were right, and nobody can say that they were right because at some point it didn't matter. Each side was right, because they thought they were right. And so they just kept fighting these wars around the world. Okay? Are we good on that? So, because we thought the world, we should control the world, and they thought we should control the world. Or they should. Okay, good? Next slide. So let's go back to Afghanistan. So here's Afghanistan in the 60s. Afghanistan, really, look at the mini skirts, women, their arms are covered, but they're not wearing hijabs at all. Their heads aren't covered in any way. It's very free. Women are in college, music, alcohol, whatever. It's the whole world. Afghanistan is its own place. Next slide. Here's some more shots. Look at the boots. I love that. Man. These were hipsters back then. These are, for a lot of you, this would be like your grandparents, your grandmothers, what they would have looked like. Next slide. Look at her, right? This is this was from a park in Kabul. Okay? Cool. These are Muslim women. All right, so Afghanistan is like lots of other people. It's pretty progressive. Things moving along. And all right. And then here, check this out. So here's a woman in a burqa. So at the same time that you have all the progressive stuff, you also have this other really conservative religious side. So this woman's fully covered in a burqa. She's not. She's wearing a scarf, right? So none of the other women were wearing scarves, but she's wearing a scarf. So it's not a hijab, but she's going to cover her head in that way, right? Look at her knees are still showing. And she's wearing this burqa. Now the burqa is this is what women in these really conservative areas and in like Pashto areas or certain areas in places like Afghanistan are going to wear, okay? Sometimes because they want to, sometimes because their families told them they had to. I mean, it could be any number of things, but you see the complexity here, and so here's Afghanistan, right? Okay? Got it? Next slide. Now, a lot of stuff happens in Afghanistan, politically speaking, and the communists take control. You know, through elections, through like, you know, are the elections fair? Are they not fair? Well, it seemed like they were relatively fair, but who knows? I mean, I have no idea. But the communists win, the Communist Party, and they take control. And then another party, over time, they like decide, hey, we're going to like throw out the communists. And so the Soviets say, hey, Afghanistan is a really key place for us, right? It's a really key place for us. And so they decide, look, we're going to invade Afghanistan to support the communists and keep them in power. Very simple. Hang on. Okay, hang on real fast. Whew. I'm going to give you a timeline, and I'm going to go really fast. Stay with me. This is really key here. So we're fighting the Cold War. Remember, the United States and Russia are fighting each other. We're each trying to control the world. Now, it all comes to home in Afghanistan, right here. The Russians decide, the Soviets decide, hey, we're going to move into Afghanistan. And the U.S. decides, no, we're not going to let you do that because we're going to fight you. But we're going to, now that you're in, we're going to do something else. So next slide. So the U.S. starts supporting the people who are fighting the Russians because the Russians have invaded, because they're now going to want to control it. The United States starts giving weapons to all these guys. See that guy right there? You know who that is? This is the White House. That's Ronald Reagan. That's the president. He brings all these guys in here who are these mujahideen, right? The mujahideen, right? The mujahideen are like the jihad. They're the fighters fighting for the jihad, fighting against the invaders of Islam, the invaders of Afghanistan. So these guys all come together, and the U.S. starts giving them weapons. In some ways, we're giving them some of our best weapons, including like rocket launchers and all sorts of stuff, because we're going to use them to fight the Russians. Okay, so follow this. Dudes, I'm going to see if I can, I want to bring this home somehow. You know, it's funny, like, I knew I was going to get to this place in this talk, in this class. Here's the message, y'all, right? The world isn't what we think it is. And the only way to understand what the world is to spend some time really examining it. So when those of us in whatever country we're in and whatever country we align ourselves with, when we stand behind our country and we say, we give our support to our country, we give our support to all the things that our country does. And when we give our support to all the things that our country does, sometimes it means a lot of things that we don't understand. Here, what it meant was we're going to give weapons to all these guys because they're fighting our enemy. Even though these guys right here are really some pretty bad people. Really bad people. We don't trust them. They don't trust us. They don't like us. They'd like to see the end of the United States. They'd like to see all sorts of things happen. They're really some bad people with bad ideas that we in no way support. However, they're fighting our enemy, and so we're going to support them. Okay? So here, next slide. So they eventually take over in Afghanistan. The Russians leave, and they take over, and they become the Taliban. And the Taliban means student in Pashto. And the Taliban now take over inside of Afghanistan. Okay? And the Taliban are, go to the next slide, the ones that imposed a different kind of Afghanistan. No music, really took Islam and took the most arcane ideas out of Islam and created an entire thought system based on Islam, based on the Quran, and based on their interpretation of Islam, which is most of these guys who did this, they're illiterate. They don't even read. They have no idea. I'll explain it later. I'm going to do this thing later in a few weeks that'll do this. But look, one, for example, is no music. No music at all, right? So all your radios, all your music stuff, it all gets confiscated, right? Book, confiscate all the books, right? No, women, this is what all women have to wear when they leave the no, nothing, right? Just an austere, really insane way of seeing the world. And they impose this on it. These are the very people to whom we gave all the weapons. And now they impose this on Afghanistan. And we sit back, success, because we got rid of the Russians. We did damage to our enemies. And now Afghanistan lives with this. Okay? Got it? It's like, wow, that's pretty evil. Really. Like, that's really troubling in a deep way. Now, go to the next one. This guy right here, he's one of the guys. You know who that is? This is the mastermind behind September 11th. This is the mastermind behind flying the airplanes into the buildings, the World Trade Center towers and the Pentagon. This is the guy. So he's one of the guys to whom we gave all the weapons. He's part of that. He emerged out of all that. He's one of the leaders. And then he comes back and says, okay, well now we got rid of the Russians. Now we're going to come after the United States. With our weapons, by the way. Right? Which is like, oh man. Okay, like if you fight war, if you fight in this way, the war's going to come back always. Violence is violence. It's going to keep going. Right? And the problem, of course, isn't that this is the history. The problem is, well, what's it going to be like in the future? Go to the next one. So here we go. So September 11th happens. Next slide. The U.S. invades Afghanistan. So now these are American troops. Okay? Now they're in Afghanistan. Now we're fighting a war. Because now we got to go after Osama bin Laden. We got to go after all these people that we supplied and we supported and we trained in order to go after our enemy. But now we've trained them and now they're coming after us. But it's all good because, you know, the military suppliers made a lot of money on the weapons and everybody, the whole 9 yards, right? But Afghanistan suffers. So now a war, the longest war in U.S. history, is going to happen in Afghanistan. So go to the next slide. So here's Kabul, 1970. Look at this shot. Just take a look at it. Go to the next slide. Same shot. Exact same shot. Go backwards. Go forward. There it is. Exact shot, taken from the same place. Destruction that, you know, really, the only person in class who, I mean, George has an understanding of this, but just destruction. Stemming from what? Right? See the implications in all this, right? Next slide. So, we had about 1 million U.S. troops deployed in Afghanistan, and about a third have come home with some recognized disability. That's recognized disability. It's not even the not recognized disabilities. So, you know, we can think, okay, Afghanistan is just, it's a word, it's a place, it's where this thing's happening, where the war's happening. No, actually, it's where Americans and others, but Americans, and for many of you, as you said earlier, your friends, close families, and for some of you who, with close friends and families, who have yet to be deployed, but will be going to Afghanistan as part of the 1+ million, and coming home with recognized disabilities. because of these connections here, right? Next slide. 100,000, over 100,000 Afghan civilians and soldiers have died. 2,350 plus U.S. soldiers, because I got that number that was about 8 months ago. That's not those who have been wounded. So this is something that's real. And for me, when I walk through the world, remember when we had the class on slavery? When I walk through the world and I'm thinking about my clothes or chocolate or coffee or whatever it is, I'm always just thinking these things. It doesn't paralyze me, but I'm thinking it because it's a recognition. When I go to a sporting event and, people stand up there's a Star Spangled Banner and people put their hand over their heart and they look at the flag and I think, hang on, first off, and that other people should do that, but they don't know anything about this. And I think, well, why? It's almost like a fake patriotism to put your hand over your heart and salute the flag when you don't know anything about any of this. It's like, I would say, sit down, don't salute, don't do anything what your countrymen and countrywomen have actually gone through and what they're doing. Like, that would actually be more patriotic in a certain way, right? It's like, and hence, that's why I'm keep moving on this. You just think about it. Like, what's it really mean? Like, what's it really mean to go into it? Next slide. So we go back to Afghanistan. So here's but nonetheless, you think about it, and I show you this photo, and that's who most of us are going to think about. They're going to think, oh, these are the Afghans, right? Here they are. Yeah, okay, a bunch of guys like this, right? And women who are covered and that sort of thing, right? Okay. Let me say this about Islam real fast. So Gallup did this poll. It was very well done. The percentage of people, we did the U.S. and then we added up all the Muslim countries in the Middle East and North Africa, agree that using the military to target civilians is sometimes justified. Almost half of Americans say yes. 13% of all the Muslims in these regions say yes. So Muslims in this region are far more likely to say, no, you can't use the military. You never kill civilians. Like, you don't kill civilians. Like, you don't do that. But we can walk through the world with this idea that Muslims are violent, Muslims are at war, they're at war. Look, they're only at war in Afghanistan because these proxy armies kept giving them weapons and kept them at war. If it wasn't for us, they wouldn't be at war. But we participate in creating that war. And so okay, but we never go there. But maybe we're the ones creating the problem. Wait, America? Wait, really? Hang on, you're telling me Muslims in the Middle East, if I just pick out 10 or 15 or 100 or 1,000 average Muslims in the Middle East, that 13% of them would say, oh yeah, sometimes it's okay to kill civilians in war. But yet almost half of Americans, and we think that we're more civilized and we're better? And we do, mind you, kill civilians in war, right? We do. In the Iraq War, for example, there was a calculation as to how many civilians could die to get the target that you really needed to get, right? So if there was one bad guy, let's say in this back room here, we knew in this house, in this back room, there's a bad guy, and we really needed to get him, but there were civilians in there. And so we need to decide, well, is it okay to kill the civilian? But how do you kill civilians? So we really got to get this bad guy, right? And the calculation as to how many civilians we could kill before we would say no, call the strike off, call it, we can't do that. The calculation was 29. It was okay to kill 29 civilians. If it was estimated that we would kill 30 civilians, then we said no. Those were the calculations during the bombing in Iraq and Afghanistan. 30 civilians meant no, 29 was okay. Dude, are you following that? So what kind of a people are we? Who are we? How are we better? Who are we? You really have to stop and look at this. Wait, what's this mean about these people? But you could say, yeah, but they kill. But we're not killing civilians. Well, we are. You're not. Most Muslims are not either. Some are killing civilians. Some. And some Americans are killing civilians. Some. But right here, it's well, what's wow, look at that. 13 and 14. I thought these people were if I listened to our president, if I listened to a lot of people in this country, I would think they're all a bunch of animals, right? But that doesn't seem like they're animals. Go to the next slide. So agree that individual attacks against civilians is never justified. In the U.S., it's 77%, and here it's 85%. These are Muslims in the Middle East and North Africa. Like, okay. And look, the reason I'm putting this out there because I want to jumble up our thinking. The world isn't as we think it is. It's not how we think it is. It's not how I don't know how it is. It is how I think it is. It's very confusing. I'm right in my thinking about the world because I'm confused. And I think the world is confusing. And that makes me right because I don't know anything. I admit that I don't know anything. And so I'm right about not knowing anything because I mostly don't know anything. And wherever I travel, what I find are people that are just really complicated, including in the United States. This is a very complicated place. It's a cool place, and it's complicated, and like, oh, man. Next slide. So here, 90% of TV news stories about Christianity in the U.S. are about religious beliefs. 58% of TV news stories about Islam are about the militancy and violence. So of course we think they're violent, because this is all we're shown. Muslim attacks receive 449% more news stories. This was I just saw this. It just came out. I didn't put the citations at the bottom. I forgot, but more news stories. They receive more news stories than attacks by non-Muslim groups, including in the United States, including Christian groups. Well, I'll talk about that later, about all the Christian groups that are killing people around the world. But look at that. So of course we think Muslims are really violent. Of course, like we don't know, like you don't know. When are you going to talk to somebody in Afghanistan? When are you going to sit down and have a conversation to ever find out what's really going on? Like we're not. We don't do that. But that's what this is, right? That's what this class is. That's what I'm just trying to give you a sense that there's a whole world out there that's pretty awesome and that will confuse the hell out of you. Okay, next one. So here. So today is kind of a really special day for me because the gentleman on the right is a friend of mine. And he is, again, I don't want to keep saying this, but I'm going to say it again. I traveled a lot. I've met a lot of amazing people. The richest of the rich, the poorest of the poor, all sorts of things, right? And this gentleman right here, that's his wife, by the way. Rashidi, Abdul Kabir Rashidi. We call him Mr. Rashidi. Everybody calls him Rashidi. I call him Mr. Rashidi, but Rashidi. He's been Rashidi since he was a little kid. He's the kindest, most gentlest human being I've ever met in my life. The kindest soul that I've ever met in my life. And I say that I've met a lot of people. He's the kindest person. A gentle, kind, amazing human being. Okay. Next slide. Here, this is our team. This is us. We're in New Delhi. This is our Afghan team. So he's Afghan. Afghan. That's my partner, Rafi. She's Afghan. She's all part of the team. DJ, who you'll meet, and Shefi, and that's Lori. And Shefi's kids, they work for us, and that's Sean, who works for us. And that's Mr. Rashidi right there. Okay? And next slide. And there's Rashidi. This is us going into a Sikh mosque. Sikh, you say, but Sikh is the correct word. So that's Rashidi. That's another friend of ours, friend of mine, who maybe you'll meet. He's from Iran. She works for me. This is Rashidi right here. And we're walking into a Sikh temple, not a mosque, pardon me. Anyway, I just want you to meet Rashidi. Because, I just want you to meet Rashidi, right? The person who I think is the kindest human being we've ever met. So, are we on? Mr. Rashidi.
Hi.
How are you, sir?
How are you?
I am very well. Nice to see you. Welcome to Switch 119.
Yeah, it's my great delight. Yeah, it was my great desire to be in this class one day. It happened. Now I'm really happy.
Yeah, thank you. It's nice to have you here. Rashidi watches the live
Thank you.
stream a lot. So, do you watch the live stream every day?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can say every night because it's midnight here.
Yeah. I know you were happy when the class got moved an hour and a half earlier, so, this is good.
Yeah, it's good a little bit.
Okay, so listen. So did you hear how I introduced you, by the way?
Yes, I thank you very much, but I'm not that much good, as you said.
Yeah, of course.
I don't.
All kind people say that. I should ask your children, though, however, so they would give me the best answer. But no, I mean every word that I say. How did you become so kind?
Yeah, I don't know, but I don't think I'm really kind.
You are, my friend. Trust me, you are. Like, how have you always?
Yeah, thank you, sir.
No, but you're very humble, and you're very just really gentle. You're like super gentle. Have you always been like that since you were a child?
Yeah, yes, I think so. Yeah, I was like this.
Yeah. Well, let me the first question. But before I do, let me say something to my class, okay? So I will turn so you can see. First off, if anybody has a question for Mr. Rashidi, come down. And George, at some point, I really want you to ask him a question, okay? Because you've been in Afghanistan. You're the only one you've been in Afghanistan, right? That's where you're deployed? I need you to say hi to him at least, because you're the only one here who's ever been in Afghanistan. So, but if anyone has a question, I'm going to ask a few questions, and so then I need, but anyone can ask one. So listen, Rashidi, on 9/11, or 9/11, right, September 11th.
Yeah.
What happened in you were in Afghanistan, or were you in Iran on September?
I was in Iran.
Afghanistan. How was it? What was it like?
Yeah, let me tell you the news when I heard about the 9/11. Yeah, 2 days before that, you had 2 terrorist Arabs come to commit a suicide attack against Amateur Massoud, and they killed Amateur Massoud. At the beginning of the news, they said Amateur Massoud wounded, and they took them to an hospital in Tajikistan. Then I was following the news every day. It was, I think, at 4:30. Yeah, the news said, serious news come and said there happened 9/11. Yes, I heard that. I became very unhappy for the civilians.
So let me ask you.
Yes, I come to Afghanistan. Yes.
No, wait. Hang on one second. Okay, hang on one sec.
Yeah.
Hey, so because we're talking all the way from Afghanistan. If you work, just let your ears just really relax, and you let your ears relax, and you'll understand everything he's saying. It's hard for me because I'm up front, and the speakers are better at attenuating in the back. But just relax your ears; you'll really follow. So, Rashidi, but in Iran, like when you were watching the news of the towers burning, was everybody watching?
Yes, every time the news showed, I was following CNN. Yeah, the news in CNN. Yes, and all TVs in Iran showed what happened in the United States.
Mm-hmm. The most Americans probably, you have this sense that Iran is our enemy, but, the whole world, when September 11th happened, the whole world sent condolences, and the Iranians, even the Ayatollah said, listen, whatever you want us to do, whatever you need us to do, we will do we will find the people who did this and we will bring justice to them, right? So all the televisions in Iran were watching on September.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
And what were people saying?
Yeah, all the people, as you said, were unhappy because of the civilian killed in this event, and all were unhappy. And they said, yes, they were unhappy.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you another question. What's it like for you? So you live in Kabul now, outside of Kabul, but how afraid are you every day?
Let me tell you a story which happened 2 or 3 weeks ago. Suicide attack in Kabul. Yeah, you mentioned that about, and more than 400 wounded in this action. Yeah, one day after I went to that place. Yeah, the life was going on as usual. They never think yesterday there happened as an event and suicide attack were killed a lot of people. There are many shops and near to it, it's a big shopping center. There was usual life going on.
So they
never think about.
So right afterwards, even though this major attack, we showed the photo of it, but you're saying like the next day, a couple days later, life just keeps going.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, that's how life is in the world. You know, I mean, it just keeps going. People just keep. So how is it for you though? I mean, you as this person who has such a big heart, and you're living through all of this, just living through this violence, 16 years. How do you maintain your positivity? Yeah,
I always hope, one day we will go out of this situation. And there are a lot of hopes now, new generation, all of them who were a child and during the Taliban areas, now they are going to universities, they are studying, they are going to abroad for studying in Europe and the United States, some modern countries. Maybe they will come back and change the situation. And also I'm doing that. I say the people to contact with the people who are living out of our country and to use their experiences to change the situation of our country.
So what you're saying there is that to be clear, is really lots of contact with people outside of Afghanistan gives you a lot of hope that you will continue to change things. And people have this idea, a lot of Americans have this idea that Afghans are just they're violent or used to violence or whatever. But, when I talk to you, I don't see any of that, and you never get used to it. You want peace.
Yes, I always say every time I write, I love humanity. Yeah, humanity is the best religion all over the world. Yeah, I say all the time, I never want anyone in any place of the world to be wounded or killed.
Wait, say that one more time. Say that last part.
Yeah, I said I don't want anyone in any place of the world, to be wounded or killed.
Yeah. So did you?
By the name of the religion. Yeah, by the name of the religion or anything else. Yeah, just I like the people. First as humanity, then our religion and.
It doesn't matter if it's Afghanistan or the United States, and it's been many, they all say the same thing, and yet we often have this idea that you all are used to the violence, you are violent, but like what I hear from everyone is like they don't want any violence anywhere, they want nothing, they want peace.
Yeah, let me say some this way.
How is it though, like you listened to what I was saying in class about how the United States and the Soviet Union, but I'm speaking from the United States, so let me just stay with that. We've been so we played such a role in creating so much violence in your country. And yet, here you are talking to a classroom in the United States. Like, how is that? Like, that we...
Yeah, I put politics, from civilians apart. I never think. I love all people who live all over the world, and the people are now sitting in your class. I love all the people, but politicians different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never trust politicians.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Nobody does. That's how it is. You know, nobody trusts them. So, does anyone have a question for him? Who has a question they want to ask? Hey, do you watch television, Rashidi?
What?
Do you watch television?
Yes.
Do you watch American television?
Yes. Last I saw the press conference at House.
Yeah. The press conference?
Yeah, something. Yeah.
What's your favorite U.S. television show?
CNN.
And oh, come on. That's boring. I mean, don't you have something like?
Yeah. I also see NBC. I watch the news. TV.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when I'm at home, they can't watch channel.
Yeah. All right. Listen. Does anyone who has a question for Rashidi? Anybody have a question? You can ask anybody. Can you ask him? Here. No, it's better if you do. Say here. Look right in here, because this is where you're going to be. Say your name.
Hi, I'm Nikki. I'm actually. My parents are actually from Iran, so, yeah. I just wanted to know, like, it's really clear what Americans think of foreigners, especially Middle Easterners. But like, what do Middle Easterners think of Americans? Like, what do Afghans think of Americans? What do Iranians think of Americans? Because pretty much I think all Americans just think of Middle Easterners as terrorists. Like, no one looks at me. I mean, I look really white, so no one looks at me and thinks I'm Iranian. But when people do think that you're Iranian, they treat you differently here. And I'm just wondering what it's like the other way around.
Yes, let me tell you about Iran. I have been 16 years in Iran. I perceive Iran as my second country. I love Iran and I love Iranian. Then I should respond to your questions. All the people, all the human, I think, as Islam says, all the humans are brothers. Never think about the Americans or American bad people, because of their political situation. They came to Afghanistan. Maybe the Afghans need them. Because of that, maybe politicians different from the civilians.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and also I want to say, I'm really impressed by. You said like all Americans, they see Middle Easterns, and like, I'm actually really impressed by the ways in which Americans are very open-minded. Like, so I think actually most Americans are very kind, but when push comes to, when we get into a corner, we can be negative because we'll follow like our fear. But the initial impulse on most Americans, I think, is really
no. I agree. Yeah. I mean, I just was like generalizing because like I'm also very American. Like I've never been to Iran, so like I see it from both ways.
Do you speak Farsi at all?
Yeah, I do.
Fluently?
Yeah.
Say something in Farsi. He speaks Farsi fluently.
I don't know what to say. خیلی خوشحال شدم. مرسی.
همچنون. منم خوشحال شدم.
Merci. I just said I had a really good time. Thank you for talking to me. And he said, me too.
Oh, very cool. All right, that's cool. Anybody else have a question? George. So we have a student in class who is in the reserve.
I know George. Yeah, I know George.
Oh, you were one.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Exactly. You know. See that? You're famous, bro, all the way into Afghanistan. There you are.
Hey, how you doing, Mr. Rashid?
Hi, George.
Hey, I'm George.
Hi, George.
Hey, I got two things for you. My first question is, do the Afghan people think that American troops are there to help? And also how do most of them feel about American troops being in their country?
Yes, some of them think that they came to help us, and some of them think that they invade to our country, and they will destroy our country. Yeah, there is different perspectives about Americans. In some parts they think that they came to help us, and some parts they don't think like this.
Mm-hmm. All right, thank you.
Wait, and the second question, though.
Yes, the second thing's more of just a statement for you. Unlike most troops, I got to visit Afghanistan from Mazar-e Sharif all the way down to Farah, so that whole western side. And I just wanted to say that Afghanistan is a beautiful country.
Thank you.
Yeah, just so many beautiful things there. It definitely changed my outlook, changed my life in many ways. And, if the hostilities ever cease, and I hope they do, that I'd love to go back and visit Afghanistan as a civilian and hopefully maybe even meet you at some point in time.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks, Phil. Yeah. You know, Rashidi, if any one of my students came to Afghanistan, came to Kabul to meet you, how safe is it?
Yeah, they're safer, as I think. I feel that they should come, and I can do anything I can do for them to have a good time in Afghanistan.
So they'll definitely have a good time. They'll eat lots of food,
Yes. Yeah, I will take them to different places of Afghanistan to see, the Afghanistan in another perspective. Yeah, just Afghanistan is famous because of its war and fighting going on and poverty and other things. There are a lot of more things in Afghanistan. You can see it.
Yeah, so many things. For me, when we travel with our Afghan team, we haven't been able to go to Afghanistan, and they're not able to come here just because of visa issues. But when we travel, like we've been to Dubai, we have meetings in Dubai, we met in India 3 times. They only want to eat at Afghan restaurants because the Afghan food is so good. We can't eat anywhere else. We have to eat at Afghan restaurants. And then once I started to eat at Afghan restaurants, I realized, this really is the best food in the world, so then especially your wife's cooking, Rashidi. Yeah. I will send. Anybody else have a question that they would like to ask? Bro, do you have a question? Hang on, we have another question. And look, you can look right in there.
Assalamu alaikum.
Shalom alaikum.
My name's Bejan. My dad's from Afghanistan.
Wait, hang on. Go ahead. Just hold it close.
My dad's from Afghanistan. I visited Afghanistan a couple of times. I guess I wanted to ask, how safe do you really feel? Because every time I go, I'm afraid to kind of roam the streets and visit places because of what they say.
Yeah, Afghanistan always from the news, but you never been in Afghanistan. If you are in Afghanistan, you never feel afraid like that you're now.
You never what? Say that again?
Yeah, you never be. Yeah, you never be afraid. Yeah, in fear like this that you're now.
Yeah, you'll never be
I
afraid.
guess it's kind of just that I'm more Americanized, so like, you know, you're getting looks from other people because of the way you dress or the way you hold yourself.
Yeah, one day I will come with Afghan dress and will talk to you.
Yeah, myself, I have Kole Afghani, so
Yes, I have as well. Which part of Afghanistan are you from? Who your father's from?
my father's from Khusti Fring.
Yeah, Khutfreng. It's the north part of Afghanistan. I've gone there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really beautiful place and a really green place.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, very cool. Thanks, man. So we have two people that know Afghanistan then. All right. Anybody else have a question? Yes. Yeah, come down. Come down. Anybody else? We have a couple more questions. You have a question, bro? Wait, hang on. You can go first. We have a couple questions here. Just say you can look right in here. Say your name.
Okay. Hi, Mr. Rashidi. I'm Scout. How are you?
Hi. Hi, Scott. Thank you.
Hi. Just a quick question. So, in terms of race in Afghanistan, like, how is it there? Is it a major factor? Like, what is the race? If there's colorism or just people who aren't native to the country, is it like a huge factor there, or does it depend on the region, etc.?
Yes, it's dependent on the region and the ethnic and tribes. Yeah, Afghan people are really apart from each other, really far from each other. There are the two big ethnics. One's called Tajik, or who speaks Persian, and one is who speaks Pashto. They are really against each other. Yeah, in somehow, but I have many friends who are Pashtun and Tajik, but my nearest friends are Pashtun.
Okay, so it's more so just like a conflict between two specific groups. It's not like for example, here in the U.S., we often have like black versus white in terms of racism. But there in Afghanistan, it's more so just two groups in particular that are at conflict.
Yeah, north and west, I think. Yeah, they are Tajik, and the other part is Pashtun. Yeah.
Afghanistan tomorrow, how would I be received, do you think?
Yes, you should come. Yeah, to Afghanistan.
I'd like to come.
Yes, you should come. Yeah, you should come, and I can help you to see Afghanistan in another view. I can see. You can see Afghanistan more different that you hear from the news.
So one of a fellow who used to work for us, who's Black American, went to Afghanistan on his own, and he was very, very warmly received, actually.
Really?
Yeah, really warmly received.
That's awesome.
Yeah, very cool.
Thank you, Mr. Rashidi.
Thank you, too.
All right, one.
Hello, Mr. Rashidi.
Hello.
In class today, we saw pictures of Kabul from 1970, and it was when everything there was a bit more progressive. Do you think that Afghan is trying to head back towards progressive, or do you think they're comfortable with where they're at right now?
Yeah, maybe they go to progressive, as I think, but there is not a rule to protect people, especially women, to wear a job, and don't do like this. But there isn't a rule, but they themselves like to be like this, wear a job and burqa and anything else. But I think they will go ahead and pass this situation and will be better.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Awesome.
Yeah, very cool.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you too.
Okay, all right, thanks. Hey, Rashidi.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Hey, listen, thank you, and thanks for after watching the live stream for so many times. Thanks for finally coming into class. Hopefully, one day you will be here in person. Yeah.
Yeah, inshallah, I'll be on with you.
Inshallah.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right, thank you. I will see you. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Okay, you all. We'll be. Hey, thanks for warmly.